decided to begin our descent because on top of the bugs, I still had to drive to Brooklyn tonight and then work at 6 a.m. the following morning in Queens, so I had to get back to attempt to get some sleep tonight. With this in mind, we cruised down the mountain. We weren't running or anything, but just a nice, smooth, consistent pace. Reminiscing with one another about our own 46er stories and journey, getting down into the cold before the long ridge walk, slipping constantly on the descent from the steep section, of course. Damn mud hiding under the needles on the trail. We got back to the ridge, past the Loch Bonnie Junction, and carried on, stepping over all the blowdown this stretch entails. Millions of trees to step over on this portion of trail. Just one after another, after another, after another. Climb along this log, step over that one. Very narrow trails that sometimes get hidden, but you have to kind of look closely to figure out where it's going. Hidden from these little bushes. But very fun. And the sun is shining, so it's a good day. Then we were back in the woods to go down the steeper, windy sections up to the ridge, following the white SOA trail markers perfectly distributed amongst the trees. Then in the distance, the sounds of the river made its way to our ears as we passed through the maple syrup tubes and landed back at the river crossing. I would really like to jump in that river right now, considering how gross I feel thanks to all of these bugs. But that's for another day. And we're at the river. And it looks just glorious. I'm going to jump across the river now. Nope. This time around, potentially laziness or confidence, I'm honestly not sure. I put my trekking poles in the river, gently planted my foot despite the rock being slippery, and I went for it. And I jumped to the rock slab across, landing successfully over the river, unharmed. Nice. And that was a lot easier this time than before. Then I handed my trekking poles over to Jonathan, and he contemplated the same jump. You want my trekking poles? He used his brains and caution, however, and decided it's not worth risking the jump on the small, slippery rock to go wrong. And Jonathan is debating how to get across. He walked up the river to the crossing we used earlier. Certainly the smarter choice. There's a really cool pool here. This would be a nice river to drink out of and to just sit right in that little pool down there for like, I don't know, 3-4 weeks of my life. Just sit in it for weeks.
You look like a raisin.
Worth it. Once over the river, we were back at the Two Brooks Junction with the Lake Trail, 2.3 miles down from Moose. So we turned left and began the half-mile trip to the Lake Trail, winding our way through the woods, passing a retaining wall that I never noticed on my way up or my previous hikes here. In the middle of the woods along the river, there's a rock retaining wall, which I know nothing about and wasn't able to find information on when or who built it and why, but it runs along part of the river, which is cool. And before we knew it, like always, we came out to the lake trail faster than expected. So we retraced our steps from earlier, walking along the old lake trail wooden signs, then onto the dirt road. Then we turned right just after that little shed building up the ATV trail towards the road. One thing to note as you're walking on this trail going back, it's more noticeable from this direction, but at one point there will be a little split with another ATV trail. Just keep hugging the left and staying near the road. We passed the tent at the beginning of the trail and then we saw the road. Out of the woods we went. We were done. Now just the quick walk along this private dirt road back to Blodgett Road and back to our car parked along the Whiteface Inn Road near the Jackrabbit Trail. And a few minutes later we made it back to our cars at 4:25 p.m., roughly 3.5 hours after we left. What I love about Moose is that it's a high peaks caliber mountain that most haven't hiked and don't know about, that starts randomly on the side of the road in Lake Placid. When you get so used to driving to official trailheads, like the Lodge or the Garden or St. Hubert's, it's really neat hitting a mountain that offers all of that with just a hop, skip, and a jump into the woods. It almost feels like it's a secret adventure waiting to happen. Moose Mountain, I love what you do. Never change. Never change. Well, another successful afternoon in the woods on this spontaneous hike up one of my favorite Adirondack mountains, the mysterious Moose Mountain, the Lost 9'er, and the 50th tallest peak in the Adirondacks. a mountain that offers so much enjoyment and unique views that are hard to beat. Thanks for listening to this episode of the 46 of 46 podcast. Give it a follow on Instagram or Facebook and keep checking back for new mountains, new stories, and new episodes. Remember to always leave no trace, do the rock hop, and if you carry it in, carry it out. See you on the trails. Looking for a way to commemorate your Adirondack hiking experiences? The 46ers collection from 46ers.com is a great way to do exactly that. Their unique lapel pins for each of the 46 high peaks make great keepsakes or gifts. Check them out at 46ers.com. That's 46ers.com.